Hello, Zora Dragon. Hello everybody. Welcome to the stream. It is Nazen here with the Leam That Streams, and we're back today playing some Minecraft. I did some off-stream playing because I'm gonna do that in this run-through, where if I decide I want to play the game, I'm gonna play the goddamn game, and there's nothing you can do about it. But I hope you guys are having a good day regardless. And welcome in. I'll show you around what I did. I didn't do a ton, but I wanted to set myself up so I could have some organization, and I got a plan for today. And I also fixed the screen. Look at that. It's right there. You can kind of see it next to me. I fixed it. I'm
Hello,
good. Crispy, what's going on? How are you? Welcome in. But yeah, so we're going to continue on. I'll show you around my base. I did some off-screen playing, like I said, and we'll see how it goes. Until then, let's get the game started. So I'm going to turn the music down, but we'll have it in the background. It'll be good. But anyway, let's go to the game. Let's see what we got here. Let's go mine and craft while we mine and do all those things that we need to do to be good at it. But anyway, here's my base. I changed the bed out to purple. I found some purple flowers and I made that happen. And then I also got more furnaces. And then I put a box here so I could have fuel for the furnaces, which I feel like is a good idea. Also, did you know you could make crates out of copper? I'm doing good. How are you doing, Crispy? How's it going? Did you know you could do that? I didn't know I could do that. That's news to me. I didn't know you could make crates out of copper. I used all that copper I had at the end of the episode last time. I used all of it. I couldn't even finish what I started. But you could do that apparently. So I also put, my little compactor here. This is like my compost, except it's made of lava. And that's what it is. But I also went out into the mountains. And one thing I noticed when I was climbing through the mountains in the last episode, there was a lot of iron up there. So I did get enough iron to make stuff. Organic lava, yes. Anyway, one thing that at the end of the episode last week that I noticed when I came up here is this cave is scary. Now, when I was playing off screen, one thing I noticed is I tried to go down here. It did not end well for me. This is scary. I didn't realize. I kind of noticed at the end of it. All of this stuff in here is skulk. It's a deep dark, but it's not deep. It's very surface level. How does that work? I don't know. I thought it had to be deep dark. I thought that was the point of it. Is it was deep dark, but not mountain dark. Not up in the mountains dark. That seems weird. Also, did you know you could make torches out of copper? Okay, I did use up all my copper, but they're green. They're green. I didn't know that. I didn't know you could do that. That must have been part of the Copper Age, but you could do that now. Either way, I probably want that. I don't really need to leave that over there because that's really not a good place for a torch. Hold on. Boop. It's not going to be a mountain mine, Zora, because I ain't going down there again. I'm not doing it. What's that? What is that? I don't know. I'm not going down there. That's skulk. That's deep dark. There's a warden down there. I met him. He's not very nice. He is not a nice guy. And there is a skulk sensor right there. Yeah. See what happens here. It goes real far down. No. I ain't jumping. I don't know if it's just me, but I find the deep dark kind of scary, man. I find it scary. I don't know what it is. I think it is the sound design. It's scary. No, I got too much stuff on me. I will die down there, Zora. I will die. Is that what you want? You want me to die? Is that what you're saying? You wishing for my ultimate demise? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. How dare you? I didn't see this. Emerald. Do I want emerald? I don't know if I want emerald. I'm sure it's useful. At some point, ow. But I do have a plan. If I'm going to do anything, I got an emerald, the best stone. I don't know if it is, but I'm going to go and I got to figure out how to make a farm. It is? Okay. I need a farm. But then I realized that building my house in the middle of an island kind of limits. It's green like you. That's true. That's a good point. Kind of limits what I can do with farm. You know what I mean? Kind of makes farm tough because there's nowhere to put it. Is the problem that I'm running into. Specifically, you are emerald green. Build some farm rafts like they did in Teotihuacan. That's a good idea. You can make underground farm. I could make an underground, but that's actually a good idea. What if I did it in the water? Can you do that? Also, can you make like a fish hatchery? Is that possible? Can you, because like, what if I trap a bunch of fish? Underground farm sounds wild. That would be kind of cool. You know where I could do it? I don't know if it's a good idea because I feel like, can you trap fish and then make them into like a hatchery? And then like, then I could, instead of having like cows and pigs and such, that I would just have fish in like a thing. I wonder if you could do that. Can I pen? Can you pin? I don't know. I don't know if you could do that. Doesn't matter. I could build a farm. The only thing that scares me about this concept is that if I build it too far in, I bet I run into that deep dark again. I bet I do because it's all right here, isn't it? Oh God, it is, isn't it? Oh God, how far does this go? Oh God, how far does this go? Deep dark farm. Well, it doesn't quite go all the way. Doesn't matter. Build a farm in the mountain mine. I could build it over here. Not in that part of the mine, in this part of the mine where I got room to do it. So let's do it here and we'll see how it goes. So what we're going to do is I need a shovel and we'll just start getting dirt. Does it need sun? Does it need sun? I don't know. With hookers and blow? That seems very specific. Is it getting dark? It's getting dark. All right. The only problemo is that I'm going to have to build a system in which bad guys can't get to it, right? Because that would be a problem. I should probably go sleep or something. Also, I probably should have brought my boat with me, but I didn't. So I probably need more than one boat. I might need more than one boat. I might get more than one boat. For now, though, we're going to go to my beautiful island home. It's raining. And here I go. Betty bye. I'm holding the torch. That's how I sleep, you know, because I'm scared of the dark, apparently. It's still raining. That's nice. All right, here we go. We're going to go build out my farm. Because I am a farming leem. A leem that farms. It doesn't quite roll off the tongue the same way, but, you know, I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go with it. Also, okay. So, let's shovel. How big of a farm do I need a pretty big farm. You don't want like a dinky farm. People will make fun of your farm if it's dinky. You don't want to be dinky. I want like an average sized farm. I'm not using this as like a euphemism for anything. Maybe. I'm just saying nobody wants a dinky farm. Ooh, coal. I don't know how big it should be, though. I mean, it could be pretty big. And stone is always a good thing to have. Okay, here's where we're going. Ooh. More iron, please. I found iron. Nice. Is this Deltarune music? I wish. No, it's not. It's just, it's a mix from, his name is Harris Heller. And he does like, if you look up his channel, it's called Senpai Gaming. And he has like a whole free music stack that you can use for streaming. And that's pretty much all I use. Because it just avoids any, you know, copyright mishaps. Yeah, I mean, he's got a whole bunch of different styles, and it's not just him doing it. Like, there's other artists and such. But, you know, it's pretty good. He does good work with it, and I enjoy it. Okay, I need it to be bigger than this, because this would be a dinky farm. And I ain't gonna have no dinky farm. Whap. Okay, let me just get more space. I'm going to use like my entire pickaxe to build out a farm. That's not how farming works. Also, I guess I'm a little concerned because I guess I don't know if farming requires sun. Like, will it grow if it's not in the sun? I actually don't know the answer to that. I don't know the Minecraft logic here. I guess I could just like uncover it if I needed to, but regardless, that kind of defeats the purpose of like an in-mountain farm. You know what I mean? You know what I want to know? I kind of want to know if I did I put another thing down here? I did, didn't I? I did. Hi, Bat. Excuse me, Bat. Oop. I didn't see him there. I don't know what he's doing. I'm kind of curious if I dig that far, like far that way, would I run into the deep dark area? I would. And then I will cry like a brave lean that I am. My last base had such a big farm, though. I never wanted for anything. That's okay. When you live in an island, you got to sacrifice some things. And in this case, it's going to be, you know, the comforts of being in a wide open space. And I'm going to live with that. I don't know where my livestock will be, but we'll figure that out as we go. That's dirt. Shouldn't have used that. What did I just hear? Hello? That sounds like a pillager. Why does it sound like pillager? I don't know. Doesn't matter. I hear them. They are here. I know there's a pillager outpost somewhere. Boy, I'm gonna have stone for days, guys. Like, if I am ever wanting for stone, I don't think I will. I don't think I'm ever gonna be wanting for stone. That's a pretty big space, but I don't think it's big enough. It's still a dinky farm. Like, what the fuck? Where are they? Are there underground pillagers? Like, number one, I didn't know that was a thing. Okay? I didn't know underground pillagers were a thing. Is that a thing? Where are you? Is underground pillager... Okay, I'm asking you guys... Can pillagers be underground? Is that a thing that can happen? What the fuck? How did you get there? No. No. The fuck? How did it do that? Where did he come from? He came from up here. Where? Was there like a pillager group? I don't know. Okay. Interesting. Was not aware that they could just show up like that. Interesting. I mean, I knew he was around. Ah, fuck. Why would I don't want that. Why would I want that? No. I have a bad omen? I don't want that. That seems like a bad thing. There's a lot of scary stuff around my home. I gotta be honest. A lot of scary things around here. I don't know how I feel about that. Well, I'm using a shovel. Okay, this feels like a pretty decent sized farm so far, so I'm gonna keep going. We're getting a better sized farm. Of a farm, I don't even know if it's gonna work. I gotta be honest, I don't know if this is gonna work. But I'm gonna try. The other thing I'm gonna need, guys, is a mine. I'm gonna need a proper mine to get diamond, because I'm gonna need diamond because I have another portal almost made. I just don't have anything to get obsidian in which to build it. So I'm gonna need more than that. Is this big? That seems pretty big, but it's not that big. I mean, it's big, but we could do better. A mountain mine. It's going to be a mountain mine for sure. But there was a pillager down here. I don't know how he got here. I'm going to need a mountain mine. I'm not going to go to that one. I'm not going to. No, Zora. We're not going down there. Not for a while. Not until I find diamond to protect myself. The Mountain of Mine Madness. It is the Mountain of Mine Madness. It is madness incarnate.
Hello, Gecko.
How's it going?
Gecko.
Good, Gecko. I'm making a mountain farm. How are you doing? Is that seems wide enough? Is that wide enough? That's probably wide enough. Let's keep going. A mountain farm? It's where I build a farm inside of a mountain. Is really what it is. Also, I was just discussing this with them. Is it getting dark? It is getting dark. I'm not going down here. I've decided I'm not doing it, Zora, who wants me to die. I'm not doing it. Zora's already said he wants me to die. So just keep that in mind whenever you talk to Zora. Zora would rather I die. And that is coming straight from the dragon themselves. They said those words exactly. So, oh god, oh my god, I'm freezing. Okay, how did I get up there before? Apparently it wasn't this way. It's getting dark. I gotta go back. Ow! I gotta go back to my island home. Oh, gotcha. I thought the mountain farms was a special kind of farm. No, 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 no. It's just a farm inside of a mountain. I did tell you to jump in the... That would kill me. Do you not understand that I would die from that? Is that not... You don't seem to understand that I would literally die from that. You're not fathoming that I would die. That would kill me. I got a lot of dirt. I do know that I did do that. Do you understand? I did. I went down there. I died. The experiment was done. The warden found me, and he was not very pleased to see me. Let's just go with that. But yeah, Gecko, I don't know if you recall this from our last playthrough. Why am I not... Just let me up. Okay. Or from our last episode. Is this another mine area? Oh, neat. Oh my god. Skeleton. Did he just die? I don't know what's going on here. A lot of people doing a lot of crazy things. A lot of crazy things happening over. I am hungry. Oh my god. And no, there was no trampoline down there. I will let you know this. When I tried to see if I could go down there, there was no trampoline. At least is from what I could tell. No trampoline to be found. I need a better way up here. This isn't working. That skeleton, yeah, he did not do well. Okay, here we go. This is a bad place. This is a bad place. Because I've never... This is what you call a bad space. Look, I don't know how Skulk could get down here. But there's a lot of it. And there's even a sensor, like, right there. Right there's a sensor. And you can see I have been down there because you can see my torch. No, you can see my torch. It's right there. I have been down there. And I did not enjoy myself. I am going to walk on this. I don't know what it is about Skulk that does kind of freak me out. Like, I think it is the sound design of it. I think it's really scary sounding. And also, I just find Skulk, like, I don't know, like, the full lore behind it, or if there is even, like, lore behind Skulk. There might be. But, like, it's scary, man. And it just feels very, like, ow. It feels very, I heard the bones. But it feels very like infection. Like it feels like a blight upon the land. Like you remember Horizon? Like Zero Dawn and Forbidden West? And that was kind of a thing in that game. It feels like that. Except it's more alive. And oh, don't kill me. No. No. Okay. I'm fine. Is this my... No. Where's my farm? Uh-oh. Ow. Where's my... is this my farm? This is my farm. Okay, here we go. My farm hole is a weird phrase to say. I do. I love the Horizon games too. All right, this is a pretty big farm, but it could be bigger. And then there's like, you know, they do the pulsating dark thing. This is my farm hole. It was made for me. Yeah, exactly. This is, well, I mean, I'm making it, so it's not made for me. I am making it for me. I am actively creating a farm hole. There are many like it, but this one is Liam. Exactly. All right. There's a pretty big hole. This is probably fine. So here's what we're... I don't like that. I don't like that it's like that. I don't like it. Build a chicken hole? I might at some point. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to block, 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 block. And then I am closing this off because hell no. There's no need to go in there. Okay. This shall be my farm hole. So we gotta light it up. Stop bragging about the size of my hole. Listen, when you got it, you gotta flaunt it, I guess. That's probably a good spot for it. Seems pretty good. We'll put one right here. And then, I guess. And then I probably should light up the area around it so that they can't get into my hole without consequences. I think. I don't know how this works. You know, it's fine. Also, I'll be able to see it from far away. Okay, so now I gotta make deeper hole. Now we're gatekeeping the Liam hole. Oh my goodness. How dare you? That doesn't, I don't need to do that. Okay. My axe is about to bruck, which means I got to get a mine going. I'm going to have to get another mine going. Not that one. I ain't going down there. Do I have a hole? A hoe? Do I have a hoe? I don't know if I do. I don't know if I do. A lot of work. Farming is hard. Good Lord. Oops. There's copper down there. There's more copper down here. I do need it after I used all of it to make torches. For some reason. I'm stuck. You can use my roommate's cat. She's a hoe. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. Let's keep it going. Keep it going. We're gonna, is it getting, nope. I have no idea if this is actually going to work or if I'm just being incredibly dumb, which I could be being incredibly dumb. And this is never going to work because it's going to be like, there's no sunlight down here. What is wrong with you? Why would you even expect this to work? Because I ain't no farmer, but I kind of feel like that's part of it is sunlight. I didn't know there was more stone. Do I need to do this? Like, I'm just going to put more dirt down anyway. I guess I don't need to do that. Never mind. Put dirt. Oops. I hope I have enough dirt. I'm out of dirt. Just kidding. I don't think I have enough dirt, though. I don't actually think I have enough dirt, which is kind of weird to think that I don't have enough dirt for a dirt farm where I just dug it out of dirt. But a lot of stone, too. There's a lot of stone. Oops. I'm out of dirt. Ah, I have a flag. All right. Oh, it got dark. I'm gonna die. Ow. Squid, save me. Save me. I don't know from what, but from something. Either way, we're gonna go to bed. What was that? That was weird. Bam. I'm gonna put this in here because I don't want to mess with that. What am I doing? This can also go in here. Okay. You know what I need. I need fans. Fence. Lots and lots of fence. That's not enough fence. I'm gonna need more where that came from. That might be enough. I'm gonna make more. Let's do that. Then we need a gate. Do I have enough? I don't have a gate. Do I have enough? Why do I have enough for a gate? Make a gate. We'll make 2 gate. 2 gate. Perfect. Okay. That's a lot of gate. Okay, back to my farm that I don't have enough dirt for. Splooch. All right, so how is it 4? Can you do 4? Like, is it 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that's as far as you can go, and all of those will get covered by the water? Is it 4? I don't remember. I feel like it's 4. I'm gonna go 4. I could be very wrong about that, but I'm gonna go 4. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. Then this one's Wawa. I usually build in odd number tiles. That makes sense. I don't want to use a lot of water in here though, so let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4 here. Did I do it absolutely perfect by accident? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I didn't. Fuck. All right. That was one off. That would have been pretty miraculous if I had done that. That would have been pretty miraculous. I got to be honest. I would be pretty impressed with myself. So this one's not going to work anyway, so I'll just do another row of water. Okay, that gives me some dirt to work with. 1, 2, 3. Actually, yeah, that's fine. So, dirt. I put it. No, I didn't. Okay. Probably not enough. But that's okay. It's not okay. I need it all filled in. Wouldn't make any sense not to. Okay, I got 15 left. I might be able to do this. I did it. Okay, so now I gotta get a hoe. I do have a hoe. What do you know? I got a hoe. What do you know? I need water, though. I'm going to have to bring some water up. Ah, that's not far enough. Get out of here. Sploosh, sploosh. Oh, my God. That scared the shit out of me. I don't even know why. Merchant jump scare was. Okay, I'm gonna bring some Wawa up. He better get out of my Wawa area. Okay, this might take a minute. Once I get like an area all the way filled up, it's pretty much unlimited, right? So that should be fine. Sploosh, sploosh, sploosh. Excuse me. Are you spitting at me? That's fine. See, it's perfect. I just take it from here, put it there. I don't know how that works, but you know what? I'm fine with it. Get out of here. I didn't ask you to come over. I didn't say come visit me. I didn't send you an invitation. I feel like you're taking advantage of me. Thinking I'm gonna buy stuff from you. I already put the emerald away, jackass. Okay. Uh-huh. Damn it. Feels kind of dark over here. Let's put another torch in. And there needs to be one over here. Okay, we are torched up. Okay. That's pretty good. I think that'll work. Okay. So now I can hoe. It's working! I think. Uh-oh, I is the nudes. I is nude farming now. You've never farmed until you do it in the buff. It is really the only way. You better not trample my farm. I will nude destroy you. That sounds wrong. That sounded a little dirty. I will not do that. Sounds very aggressive. You're gonna trample. If you trample my shit, I will destroy you. If you trample my farm, I will literally destroy you. You will be dead. You and your family and your things. Do not trample. Do not do it. Get out of here. I think he did. I think he did right there. Did he trample that? He better not have. Okay. Now that he's gone, I'm going to put up my fence here. And then no one will get in here. Nope. No. No. The answer is no. I don't know why I put it there, but doesn't matter. I need those. I need your seeds. You are not allowed in my place of business. My farm. Shut up. Ah. I don't know if this is going to do anything. To be completely honest, I don't know if this does anything at all. But it's going to have to, because otherwise this guy is going to get in there. I don't want that. I don't want it. I don't. You know what I need to do? It's getting dark again. I can't even get up here. Oh, God. Well, you know, that means it's working, guys. That means it's working. Shut up. Do not make me destroy you. Do not get it. Do not. Or where did your guy go? Oh, God, get out of there. I will destroy you. I will end you. I will eat your babies for breakfast. And I will murder your grandmother in front of you if you do not get out of my home. What is happening here? I don't really I need to go. He better not be there when I get back, even though I think I just trapped him in there. That's kind of not his fault. But either way, he better find a way out of there before I get back. I don't know what my plan is, but I don't think I've got enough seeds. You know what I should... Well, we'll get there in a second. We'll do that next. Give me your seed. Shut up. I feel like he's still there. I mean, I guess he's better than the illager that showed up out of nowhere. Better plant a forest while you're at it, right? I probably should, because I'm going to run out of friggin' things. Get out of... God damn it. He's going to trample my farm. He did! That's it! That's it! No. That's it. This is over. This is over. This is over. You will die! Trampling. No, you will not spit on me! You will not spit on me! Now you're all alone. Now it's just... why am I using a hoe? Get out of here. I told you what would happen. He knew what the consequences would be. He knew. He was well aware, and yet he's still there. And that is on him. I can't get over there. That is his fault and his fault alone. I take no responsibility for what just happened. That was clearly his fault for trampling my farm. I warned him. And I got some leather. Ain't that nice? All right, from over here. I know it. Whoa, damn it. I didn't want to do that. I know it kind of looked like murder, but no. You're mistaken. No. Don't worry about it. Okay, more. I'm gonna need more fence, I think. Can I put a fence there? That kind of works. Okay. So they can't really get from over here now. I mean, they could. They could just fall in, but I definitely don't have enough fence for all this. That really doesn't do anything. I'm out of fence. I need more fence. It's a good idea, though. It'll work. How do I only have 6 seeds? I feel like I got way more seed than that. That's not enough seeds. That's nowhere near enough seeds. Can I put these? I can. Yeah. Good stuff. Okay. I need more seeds. I don't have enough seeds. There's lots of things up here. I can get them. All right. But I'm also going to need a mine. That is something that's going to have to happen. Too bad there's not somebody here I could, like, buy seeds from. I don't know where you would get that. But I'm sure there's, like, you know, people that wander around. Maybe with, like, animals that they take with them everywhere. That, you know. Yeah. I heard that. It didn't fool me, though, because I saw it pop up on the side of my screen there, Thanos, so nice try. Too bad there's not any of those kind of people. I don't know where that would, if they exist or anything. I don't think they do. Ow. Is that another cave?
Hello, Thanis93.
That is not true. I have plenty of seed. Got all of the seed. I got 8 seeds. That's a lot of seed, you know? All right, there we go. 8 still. How do I only have 8? I need more fence and I need more seeds. Those don't give you seeds, do they? There's no way. They don't give you... Those don't do it. I don't think they do. All right, it's fine. There also is... I don't know. Do those give you seeds? They don't seem to. I'm gonna need a lot more than 9. I guess I don't really. I could just grow it. And then as I get more, you know, wheat... You need more brain cells? That's not happening. Those have been gone long ago. I had lots of dirt, right? That's oh, I got 4 more. That's a lot of seeds. That's plenty of seeds. I need more fence. That's what I need. Plenty more fence. I really don't think I've got enough sticks to make. I can make more sticks. Let's do...
Oh my, there is an incoming break for adverts in 2 minutes.
And then how do you do sticks? Oh. That's how you do it. Okay. So now I've got wood. And I got more wood. All right. And now I can make fence. You should build a wall around the island to keep away mobs. That's a lot of work. That's so much work. I'll build it where it counts, where it matters. You know what I mean? I'll do that. Just not... I don't know if I want to do all of that. That's a lot of work. No. That's all I can do. Just make a stone fence. That's a lot of fence, though. Do you know how much? I have a lot of stone, but that's a lot. That's a lot of fence. I'll just put fence around things that need to be fenced, and then we'll be fine. We'll see. You'll see. It's going to work. It's going to be great. It's going to be beautiful. What I should do is use the stairs that I have and, like, build a stairwell all the way up here. Look, see, it's already growing. It's going to work just fine. It's fine. That's not the right way to go. They can go right there, though. All right, I need the fence in my bar. Put that there instead of bucket. Can I... Will that keep him out? No. That'll keep him out. Okay. I'm just gonna keep him out. They'll keep him out right here. Yeah. Hey, they got nowhere to go. That's probably not gonna work too well. Maybe I should do that instead. All right, let's go. Wham! All right. Why did you do that? Why you gotta do that? Damn it. I'm too lazy to go. There it goes. Is it getting dark again? Is it already getting dark again? I don't like the implication. There we go. God, I hope I can complete this. I just need it to get over here. So what I should do... Because if it's over here, they are no way of getting in here. Not to my area. It just won't be possible. Except for there might be able to, so I'll put more here. Ah, beautiful. Beautiful. It's beautiful, I tell you. It's beautiful and it's foolproof. And we'll put torches all the way down it. So they'll never be able to get in this bitch. Bam. Okay, they're not coming in here. They are not going to mess up my place. I probably don't need to use all of those, but that's okay. All right. Ah! I'm gonna try some. Ooh, I didn't mean to do that. God, I can't do that. I'm gonna try something though. Why does that look like it's not filled in all the way? Doesn't matter. Let me put this. I want to see if these grow. Because I don't know if they will. All right. That's my farm. My mountain farm. Just as we said was going to happen. That's my mountain farm. Now, here's what, how do you breed fish? Can you breed fish? Is that a thing you can do? Because if I don't need to make like an area for them, can you breed? I don't know if you can breed fish. Hold on. Let me look it up. Can you breed fish in Minecraft? No. Damn it. Okay, never mind. No hatcheries for me, please. You can watch them live in a bucket? Yeah. You can catch them live with a bucket. That's fine. I don't want to do that. I wanted to make a hatchery. You know? I thought that would be kind of cool. But in lieu of that, since I can't, I'm going to need to put some stuff away. And I need to make a mine. Because I shall have food shortly. So we're going to put some stuff away. I got a lot of cobblestone now. If I ever need stone, I think we're covered. I don't know. I have lead? When did I get lead? Build a chicken coop? I could do that. I don't have any chickens, though. That's the only issue with that. So I don't have any chickens. I have to go find chickens. All right, let's get some this in here. I'm going to put the raw copper there. I don't know where I got lead from, but that's okay. I'm going to need some more pickaxe. Because I'm going to go make a mine. So we'll get a couple more of those. And here we go. I'm thinking my mine led like how the Brits call leash. I guess. That's probably true. Lead. Yes. All right. I think my mine is going to be over here, but maybe that would be more efficient is right there. I'm going to try that. Let's go do that. Like, I could do it there, but the problem is all of that is underwater. Should put those giant redwood trees. Where do you find those at? This seems like a good spot for a mine. Let's go for it. We'll make a door for my mine right here. And then make it right here. I didn't bring any more torches. I'm gonna need more torches. You know, I'm kind of just hoping this like leads to like a cave inside the mountain here. I get more coal. See, this mine's already paying off, guys. This is already paying off dividends here. This is great. Follow the ore, I always say. Follow the ore. All right, let's go this way. I'm kind of thinking that eventually this will just lead into the mountain. Like, there'll probably be a cavern in the mountain somewhere. That's kind of what I think will happen. I could go down, and eventually I will. Do I have a door? I feel like I have a door. If you get a composter from a village, you can make bone meal. Oh. What do you put? You just put bones in there? That makes sense. Could you just make bone meal from the bones anyway? No, like wood and plants. Oh, neat. All right, let's start heading down, I guess. We got to get down because if my whole goal here is to get diamond, then I'm gonna have to start heading down. How to use a composter in, I don't know.
Oh,
I mean, it seems
simple.
really straightforward.
To use a composter in Minecraft, right-click it with compostable items like seeds or crops. Each item increases the composter's level. When it's full, you'll see white stuff on top. Right-click again to get bone meal. And don't worry, huge ass. It's way easier than my attempts at flirting with Theo.
Okay. Did you try? How often do you try? Okay, this is good. Yeah, white stuff. That's not ominous at all. kind of stone is this? This feels like different kinds of stone. This could go on for a while. Digging a mine is difficult. You gotta put a lot of work into that shit. This is why I need a diamond pickaxe, though, so it's not as hard. But the problem is you can't get a diamond pickaxe unless you do the hard work to get to it. And goddamn, I'm lazy. That sounds like gravel. Can't see though. That's better. Oh, this is gonna take a while. This is gonna take a long time. What's it look like outside right now? It's still day. It's fine. I should mark the spot. Not that it's hard to find. I have too much rock. It is gravel. Uh-oh. That means there might be water down here. Which means that would be a problem for me. The fuck was that? That didn't sound like normal ambient sounds to me. I'm gonna need to make more pickaxe here pretty soon. I am running low on the pickaxe right now. Also, I don't know what to do with... I've got too much stone. I'm gonna have to start lava-ing some of it. Damn it. All right. Let me use my last one, and then we'll probably have to go back up for some more stuff. Especially since I probably have got so much stone in my inventory that it's going to be a problemo. That's a torch. That's not going to work. Use it to build giant stone panis? Did you mean penis? I'm hearing stuff, though. Uh-oh. We might be coming across something. We might have something here. Did you mean panini? Like a stone panini doesn't sound that good. Paninis are supposed to be made out of bread, not stone. They are right here. I don't know where they are exactly, but my goodness, you are right there. Wherever you are. Oh, there it is. I found them. Oh God, we are high up. Okay. I don't want to go down there yet. Huh. Interesting. Hey, what's up? What's up, boys? How you guys doing? Good. Oh. Okay. Okay. Oh, he's trying to get up here. Listen, my dude, the answer is no. The answer is no. No. Bad. Oh, there's a skeleton right there, too. Okay. Interesting. Okay, what we may need to do is... I found my place to... Oh, that's not what I want. Hey, no. Hey. Hey, no. That guy has a sword. No. No. Oh, that guy's got a sword. No. Oh, my God. They're trying to kill me. This is harassment. This is harassment. This is harassment. This is harassment. I could write my name in chat. There's so many. Harassment, harassment, harassment. Harassment, fuck. Ow, okay, this is bad, okay. All right, I'm gonna need more stuff. But we have our mine. We have our mine, guys. We're mined. I have a farm and I have a mine. And this is all I've ever needed. Except I kind of screwed up this one. So that's we could fix this. It's got to be perfect. Okay, there we go. My mine. It's probably dark. It is definitely dark out. Okay. My mine. Let's go. That's the wrong way. There we go. So, we have done the impossible. I don't know if it's the impossible, but we've done something. I'm going to need more stuff. Like, I need fence. Or not fence, but I need ladder. I'm going to need some ladder. And more pickaxes, because I run out of pickaxe. Did I keep any of that on me? I got way too much stone. And they called it a mine. Yeah, exactly. Where's my stuff at? Oh, it's over here. All right, I'm going to throw some of this. I got too much stone as it is, so I'm going to get rid of some of the stone. I don't need no andesite. Andesite is for bitches. And I ain't no bitch. I might have needed gravel. I don't know what I would need gravel for, but whatever. That's good enough. I don't need you. I got one of you already. Damn. Damn. All right, we're going to need more pickaxe. I'll probably need 2 of those. At least 2 of those. I'm almost out of hoe. My hoe, no. I do have an extra shovel, so I'm good there. Although I might need another one. Because that one's about to brick. So we'll do that. And then I'm going to need ladder. That takes all stick. I'm going to need more sticks. We'll do that. And then I'm going to need lots of sticks. So Wood, 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 wood. That's enough wood. Now we make stick. Stick. That's not a stick. Make lots of stick. And then you like that many sticks. And then I guess, what was I going to make? I need a door. I've got a door. I got plenty of door. That. Okay, let's make some of these. That's not enough of those. Blah, 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 blah. Just make us... Oh, I'm going to run out of sticks already. All right, how many of these make each? That's a lot of ladder. That's a fair amount of ladder. I'm out of sticks. All right, hold on. Let me make some more sticks. I need at least a few of those, though, because... Well, I got some planks. I'll be good. Okay. That's a lot of stuff that I have going on here. I don't need to bring fence with me. And I'm going to need... I got plenty of torches, so we're in good shape there. So, let me put some stuff away in my junk drawer. Like this emerald and the fence that I'm not going to need. But I do need a door. That's coming with me. I think that'll do it for now. Okay. Let's go back and... I don't know how that got there, but fair enough. Before I go over there, let me go check on my farm. See if things are growing so that I can farm it. And then use it to farm more such things. Okay, so that stuff is growing. That's good to see. Damn it. Some of that wasn't ready to go. Some of that definitely wasn't ready to go. That was... Did they grow slower in the dark? Is that a thing I might have to worry about? Is that a thing I'm going to be dealing with? Let me find out. Does wheat grow slower I guess, underground? No. Okay, so it says no. So I guess I'm okay. Sure seems like it is, though. Oh, well. And off to the mine. Boo, 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 boo. Let's go. Wham, 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 wham. I'm gonna need to build like a redstone cart or something. Oh, I should have made a box or something. I should have made stuff. Actually, I could just do that. All right, let me put that there. That's a big area. Oh, it goes so deep. This is going to work out for me. This is going to be good. This is what you call good. This is a good space. No, I don't need to jump. I'm fine. There is no need. I got plenty of space. This is good. See, this is gonna work. This is gonna work for me. Hello, Olympus. Why does everybody want to see me die? What's wrong with you guys? You guys are all like, die, Liam, die. I don't think so. There's iron right there. Oh man, this is already paying off. I don't see anybody though. It's weird. There was like 80 billion zombies and now there's none. There's more. Where are you at? There's more iron right over there. This is going to be a good mine. This is what you call a good mine. And it's all mine. This mine shall be good and all mine. I see a zombo. Oh, there's like a whole area over here that's like exposed. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to light it up so that they can't easily spawn in here. You didn't see nothing. You saw nothing. Oh, he's still coming for me. He's still coming for me. He wants to tango. You want to tango with this mango? I didn't think so. Oh, big mistake. Big oopsie on your poopsie. I'm doing good. How are you doing, Olympus? Oh, you're going to get some oopsie on your poopsie. Uh-oh. Oh, ow. You bastard. Take that, bitch. I'm good. All is well. I got my iron that I need. I got a whole area over here, and I got all this over there. Everything's looking up here. Everything is looking up. Okay. I don't need no friendos coming after me in here. We ain't gonna tolerate none of that. Cool. Good, a little tired, but today was chill. Good, kind of tired. That's good. That's good. I want an underground canyon like this. Like, I went to an underground canyon like this years ago, like a real one. That's pretty cool. Okay, we're gonna put one there. How deep does this go? I found all the zombos. This looks like it goes pretty deep. You have to be you have to have a professional to rappel in. That's kind of cool. Ow. Okay. I want to see. Uh-oh. Haha. Oop. Take that. How deep does this... Creeper. Creeper creeping. Creeper creeping. I see you. How deep does this go, though? There's a lot of stuff here. There's a big mine. A big space. How far down does this go? Not that I want to know, like, immediately how far down it goes. You know? I don't want to know all of the way down. That would be a bad idea. Oh, that goes real deep. Interesting. Iron. Ooh, more iron. Ooh, even more iron. Sweet. Ooh. Lots of iron. I'm rich. Hell yeah. Good little iron node. I see you. I will not be fooled. Ooh, arrows. Okay. This is a cool cave, though. Gotta be honest, I'm pretty happy with this. Got a lot of potential in here. It is dark. It got dark. All right, let's go home. I gotta get some things built out. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn this into like my little base area for it. Actually, what we'll do is, because it's probably I don't know. We'll figure it out. I need like a mine cart, and I got to do the whole redstone thing. This is going to take a long time. It's not as deep as the last one I built, though. I will say that. It's not quite as deep. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Bloop, bloop. And then we'll just bloop. Now only I can get in there. And then we'll take this guy over this way. I cannot. Okay, there we go. All right. Well, we are making progress, which is good. I think that's good. We're going to make more progress. Lots of What are you doing over by my farm? Who do you think you are? Pretty sure you're dead is what you are. Where's my gate? That's my gate. It's not growing fast enough. It's fine. It'll be fine. Eventually. Should I build like a pasture? Should I build like a pen for cows? And that's something I'm going to do. I could put it like right over here. There might be a spot over here I could use for that. I'm going to need a lot more wood, though, if I'm going to do that. I could put like a cow pen in here, like over this way, and use this for like cows and such. And then I would have to put defenses around it so that the zombies don't eat my cows, I don't think, so I'd probably be okay. But I could do that. And then, yeah, we could make like my cow zone. This is like going to be my ranch, but I'm going to need more wood if I'm going to do that. And there seems to be a forest over here, so we're going to go get some wood. I'm going to need wood so that I can kill cows. Not kill cows, raise them so that I can kill them later. But not right away. Eventually. Eventually I will murder cows. But not right now. Where does this go? Where does this go? Oh, seems like something. All right. Oh yeah, I remember this. I went in here, right? I've been in here. No, I haven't. This is different. Never mind. I need wood. I'm up here for a reason, and that's for wood. Give me your wood. Chicken! Dead chicken? Very dead. I would love to go to a cave. Actually, I don't know if I would. Actually, now that I say that out loud, I don't know if I would like to go to a cave like that. Crispy, I feel like I would get very claustrophobic very quickly with that. Something about that just sounds, ugh. I'm sure it's really cool looking. Like, I would probably be with you on that part. Like, it's really cool. Hello, bee. But I don't know if I would like it. You know what I mean? I think it would freak me out. I'm not tall enough. I need to use an axe for that. Not using an axe would be dumb. That's a tall ass tree. Jesus Christ. Holy cow, it just keeps going. You're so tall. My God. That is the world's tallest tree. You talk about getting some of that redwood. I think I found it. How far can I reach? Oh, not quite far enough. Okay. All right. Let's get some of these shorter ones. They'll be a lot easier on me. I think this is where I found the flowers for my bed. It was up here somewhere. There's a lot of flowers. It's very pretty in here. I say as I destroy the landscape slowly but surely, stripping of it all of its trees. Oh yeah. There's that cave. I think that's where my cave is. That makes sense. And no, before you say it, I'm not jumping. Ooh, I almost jumped by accident. That would have been purely by accident. I'm not going to do that. That would be dumb, and I would never do that. Because I ain't the dumb. Okay, that's a lot of wood. That should get me pretty far in my endeavor. We'll get a few more. Alrighty. Piggy? I heard pig. Is there a pig up here somewhere I could massacre? right, let's get this wood. The more the merrier, I suppose. Okay. So if I head back down... Oh, that would have been a far drop. Ooh. Is this a different cave? There's a lot of caves in here. Oh, hi. I don't want any. Don't want any. No. I said no. No means no. Shut up. Okay. So, what we're going to have to do... Ow. We're going to build over in this area. We're going to build like a livestock pen where I can put sheepies and cowies. No means yes. Yes means jump. Also, bedtime for you. Okay. Good night. Have a good sleepy sleeps. And no, I will not jump. But I will make more fence. So I can entrap cows and such. Someone clip it if he falls. Oh my god. I shall not do that. I ain't no fool. I have wheat. How do you make bread? There it is. Figured it out. I made bread. I have one bread. I have nowhere to put my bread. Damn it. Okay, hold on. I'll get that in a second. Where'd it go? Put the bread. I need... You know what? This is garbage. I don't want all these things. Damn it. We'll put the flowers in there. And the rotten flesh. Anything else? No, that's fine. Okay. I'm gonna need fans. And wheat. I am so out of space. I need to put some stuff away. You know, storage is always a problem in this game. Feels like, you know what I mean? I have a bucket. I don't remember putting a bucket in there. Oh well, it doesn't matter. Nice. Shrubberies. I'll put some wheat in there. Anything else I put in there right now? We'll put the arrows. Arrows go into a different drawer. I gotta try and keep it somewhat organized. I will fail, but you know. I'm gonna try to start off that way. I got a lot of wood now. That's a lot of wood. That's good. Oh, I don't need this door. I am in no more need of door. Okay, so we're gonna make fence. I don't know why that went there. I got plenty of ladder. Didn't I have more fence? Did I use all? I do have some fence. Okay. Fence. Oh, because I don't have. Okay. Fans. Okay. Why is that? I can't make more. I don't want Arcadia. Okay. We're going to make as much fence as I can because I'm going to need all of it, I think. I'm probably going to need as much as I can get. That's a lot of fence. I burned through almost all of that wood. Almost all of the wood that I had. And that actually is kind of depressing. Stick. Damn it. We'll make, oops. Fence. That'll get me, that should give me enough fence. I think that's enough fence. And then I'm going to need a gate. And then maybe 2 gates. Just in case. Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, it's Betty by time. Betty by time. I is the sleepies. Also, it's dark and things will want to kill me. But we're going to go up to there and make me... Do I have any more stairs? I thought I did. Stairs, stairs, stairs. Where would I have put that? Oops. Stairs. That's not enough. That's nowhere near enough. Oh, well, whatever. I see you over there, creeper. You can't. You're there, too. I see you there, too. Ow! Who the fuck? Oh, what the hell? You asshole. Where's that creeper at? Because I don't want him blowing up my ranch. Get out of here. Don't do it. Don't do it. Haha. Oh! We're fine. Okay, this is where my cow's gonna go. And my sheepies and other various animals of, you know, whatever. And then I shall have them make me more of them. By stuff. Yeah. That made perfect sense. My shovel. It's fine. Okay. Alrighty. Alrighty. This could work. This could do it. This could be a thing. I put that in there or fill that back in. I don't know what happened to that. That's okay. Let me get more of these. Because I can get seeds that I need. I don't care about you. I am out of space, I think. Okay. Now, fence. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll start it right here. Here. We'll go boom. I think that's as far as I'm going to go with that. That's pretty big. That's a big area for cows and sheepies and such. I think that's even. Might need to go one more. There we go. Oh, I made way too much fence. Oh, I didn't need that much fence. I was a fool. I was a fool to make as much fence as I made. But that's okay. Did you just put a flower in my freaking thing? I don't need that. Get out of here. All right. I broke that flower though. We'll probably put one over here too, just in case. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. I'm gonna beat this freaking fence down with a flower. Because I can. Nope. I missed. Real bad. That was real bad. All right. There we go. Okay. All right. So now I just got to get him in here. Oh, I shouldn't have used all that hay to make the bread. Because I could have used that to not make bread and to get cows in here. How do sheep do the same thing? Is sheep hay as well? Crap. I made an error. I made a horrible error. Oh, my copper's starting to oxidize. That's not as pretty. But it's fine. It's fine. Okay. Do I have any hay left? I probably have some. It's probably some growing. I don't remember which one it's in. There, I do have some. Okay, perfect. I don't need you. That's fine. So what I could do is eat this hay. I'm gonna try and get this cow, these 2 cows in there. That way I can start breeding cows. That's a little ominous. Cows, time to come home. I got just what you want from me. You know you want this wheat. Come get the wheat. Follow me to your new home. There's also one over. Come here. Moo. Oh, moo, moo. Don't fall in there. Do not do it. Do not fall in there. Moo. Move. Will you? Come on. Come on, cow. Come on, cow. You got this, cow. Okay, maybe he doesn't got this. Cow. God damn it. Quit being so weak. Cow. 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 God damn it, cow. Come this way, cow. You're going to make it. You're going to make it. You're going to make it. I swear to God, you're going to make it. Come on. Okay, you're fine. Burger? It is a walking burger. Okay, all right. You're almost there. You're almost to your new home. Come on, cow. There you are. Haha, you're tricked. I tricked you. But I'll bring you a friend in just a moment. Oh, that's convenient. Boo-doo-boo-doo-boo. Ah. I need better. Mountains are hard. Come on, cow. Let's go. You got this. I don't know where I am. Okay. Both of you. This way. Eat the wheat. Make baby. I don't think I gave him enough to make a baby. It didn't work. Okay, but I need more wheat. But that's okay. We've got my ranch. I should probably put... we'll do this. We'll put candles on the outside so things don't try and kill my cows. I don't think they would, but just in case. And now I know where it is too. Good stuff. Ow. I should go check out my farm before heading back in. It's getting kind of dark. Sun's getting real low. Mr. Hulk. It's from that movie. You know what I'm talking about. All right, let's see. I got wait. Okay. Ah, fuck. God damn it. Was that not mature? Was that not full up? It seemed like it had plenty in it. Oh well. Well, how much do I have left? I have seeds. I got 43 seeds. That's not bad. That's a pretty good amount of seeds. All right, let's get this replanted. Nope. Quit. Why can't I plant you? I don't know. It wouldn't let me do it. Why is that one not planting? Why can't I plant there? Why are some of these unplantable?
There is an incoming break for adverts in 2 minutes.
Some of them are unplantable. Why is that? I don't know. Doesn't make any sense. That one's also... What is happening? Interesting. Ba-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da. Okay. I think we're making some real progress here. We've got a farm. We got a mine. We got a cow ranch thingy. It is really coming together. You know what they say about houses on the lake? I don't. What do they say? I'm very, very curious. I also have Papyrus? Alan Wake will get you. What? I've never played the Alan Wake game, so I don't know, but maybe. Is Alan Wake Okay, make babies. Baby! Haha, it worked. I got the baby. I should put boxes up here so I can keep wheat and stuff. That's such a good idea. I should do that. It's not a lake, it's an ocean. Oh. Why does Alan Wake want to get you? That seems kind of ominous. Is Alan Wake not a good guy? I thought he was a good guy. I'm gonna make a box. I need to make a box or a chest. I need chests. Chesticles. I'm gonna make like chest. Not iron chest, but like 4 of these. Okay. And then I'll put them in places so that I have the materials of which I need. I'll put this over here. Chest. There we go. We'll put those here, that here, and we'll just excavate that out. Okay, and then I gotta put uno, dos. That gives me places to put seeds and such. And then I'm going to go put another set over here. Oh, that was close. Okay, we'll put those over here. And now I got places to put wheat for the cows, so I can keep some wheat over here at all times. It's a beautiful thing. Hello, cows. How's the baby doing? Good? Great. And now I'm going back to my mine because that's really what I need to do right now. But it's becoming a home, guys. And once we've really established my home and everything, I think we're going to do some exploring at that point. We're going to do some real exploring after that. Because once I've established my home, it's real easy to go exploring. This is nice. This is what I'm talking about. Okay. Let's go. I got torches. I got everything I need. I need more iron, but what I really need is to get deep enough to get to diamond. That's what I really need to do. Let me go look over here. I kind of want to see if there's anything over here that's worth exploring. There probably is, but maybe. Does the water go somewhere? Not really. Although there is like a whole cavern back here. This thing's huge. Huge-maja. I don't know where I'm going, but it's fine. Look at the size of this place. This is great. There's a creeper over there. I see you. You can't fool me with your creeperness. You may think your creepness is good enough for me, but it is not. Oh, there's iron right there. Okay. I don't know if I'm down far enough to get diamond, though. I feel like that's the only flaw to this, is that I don't think to like get a lot of diamond, I don't think I have enough. I don't think I'm deep enough. Like, I feel like I'm going to have to go real deep to get diamond. Copper or iron and everything else, easy enough. Easy peasy. But if I really want to get the good stuff, I'm going to have to delve deep. Find my way into the depths. I see you guys coming. Ow. That's enough from you two, you troublemakers. I'm almost out of torches. Or like, I'm not. but I am almost out of my good torches. There's a creeper. I see you coming. You can't get me. Although that is where I'm trying to go. Haha. Who's dead? Not me. You are. Let me get that there. Whoa! Ow! Okay. I see the Skeletorns over there. Uh-oh. Who wants some? Uh-oh. I see you. Where are you? I hear you. I don't see you nowhere. Oh, there you are. Wait, what happened to my I have a shield. Okay. Whoa! 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 No. I don't know what you are. I don't like you. Okay, but you die just as fine. That's fine. We're good. No problem. He just looked weird. Yeah, real estate's going to be through the roof. You're right. I have picked the perfect spot. And someday I will sell this to make my fortune. But for now, I shall get my fortune elsewise. Elsewise. Wise of else. Aye. Who's... Oh, there you are. How dare you? Are you stuck? Did you get yourself stuck in there? He did. He's dumb. What a dumb. What a dumb. Ow! Ow! There's a lot of you. That's more than I wanted. Oh, creeper! Creeper creeping! Creeper incoming. Can't have that. Ah! Alrighty. Problem solved. All right, how do I get out of here? Where's this go? Have I been up here? Apparently not. It's pretty dark. Don't really go anywhere. That's okay. There's more iron, though. I don't know why I want iron as much as I do, but I probably could use iron in a lot of ways. It is dark out. That's a problem. Oh, well. Ooh, that's a long drop. What does a copper golem do in Minecraft? Good question.
Oh, the copper golem. So technically it doesn't exist in base Minecraft. It was a cool mob idea from the Mob Vote 2021.
Oh, he's a
The
little
copper
behind on
golem
that
would
one,
have
isn't he?
wandered around, pressed copper buttons randomly, and oxidized over time until turning into a cute statue. Unlike me, who just oxidizes from stress when Theo walks by.
Okay. I think he's a little behind. A little behind. I know that's actually a thing now. Okay, what should I do now? I haven't found a place to get diamonds from. But there's got to be a way to do that somewhere in here. I'll figure it out. Ah. How do you do that? I don't even know how to do that. Oh, I have a fish in there. Just a fish. Just a random fish. It's fine. Nothing to worry about. Beep, 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 beep. I got a bone. I got a bone to pick with you. Oh yeah, I was gonna use the stairs for something. I probably need more of those. You know, because what I should do is make more stairs. That way. I got a lot of stone to burn, so that's fine. Okay. That's a fair amount of stairs. And then what else do I have? I got a lot of stuff. I need to put some fishy in there. I got too much dirt. I don't really need the gunpowder. Block of copper with a jack-o'-lantern on the top. Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, once I find a pumpkin, I'll do that. Gonna have to find a pumpkin first, though. So, in order to get to my various things and places, I have rotten flesh. I don't want rotten flesh. Get out of here. Okay. In order to easily get to my various places and things, I should build the stairs that go up to it. That'll make it a little easier for me to get from to and fro. So, where are my stairs? There they are. That's how stairs work. Damn it. That's better. Say easy peasy. Easy peasy. Actually, I'll even go one better. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I need like a... Perfect. I don't know how that helps me, since there's, you know, big gap right there. It's fine. Okay. That gets me up here super duper easy. I should do the same on this side. put them like right here. No. I mean, kind of. No, still no. Definitely no. That's better. You're wrong. Game, you had 4 choices you could have done. You chose the absolute wrong one. Still wrong. Do you like to move it in the mines? I will. Once I find a place I can get diamonds. Okay, I'm gonna need... No! Okay. Okay, maybe now what I'll do is I'll build it over here. And then I just start going this way. Yeah. Because that'll get me right up there. Beautiful. All right, I got my stairs to where I needs to go. I should go check out my crops, though. They go boom. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. All right. Let me use my stairs. It only makes sense that I would do such a thing, since I just went to all the trouble of making them. But that'll get me up here and down real quick. Okay, beautiful. They've hardly grown at all. Damn it. Can you train a leaner to operate mining equipment? I mean, I'm doing it. Duh. So obviously, yes. Okay. Now that I've done all of that, I've created an ecosystem that I might use in order to do stuff. I'm going to combine those. Let's get that out of here. Let's put my stairs away. It's raining. I should build... How do you build a... I should do a compass. Before I go anywhere, I'll have to do that. But I have things. I got plenty of that. All right, we're doing okay. Let me put these fence and stuff away because I'm not going to need that. Not for a little while. I'm still going to need to figure out how to get supplies. But quite honestly, right now, we're doing pretty good. And, I got a mine. I got a ranch. I should probably feed my cows. I need more boats because having only the one boat, not really doing it for me. Can I make more boats? How do you do that? I'm going to make more boats. All right. What do I have in my... Okay. Boat. Boat. Hell. Damn it. Boat. Okay. We're going to make 2 boats. And then I will put a boat over here to get to my mine or to my farm. And then we'll put the other one over here to get to these places. Perfect. Let me go feed my cows. I have wheat in the box. Oh, you grown. Look at... Oh, I feel like this is going to turn into incest very quickly. I hope you were not the baby. I guess that was kind of inevitable. Oh, well. What does that sound? I don't know. It sounded like it drowned, but I didn't see one. Oh well. Is there a drown down there? I don't see it. If there is one. Okie doke. I can't go to bed. It doesn't matter because we're gonna go look over there somewhere. I'm gonna go on a little adventure. Because it's time I go and try and find out what's around here. I'm gonna go that way. Is the way I'm gonna go. See what other stuff is around. It's probably almost night and this is the worst possible time I could do this, but I don't care. I need to go see if I can find stuff and things. If I remember correctly, somewhere out in this yonder way, there was a pillager outpost. I don't remember if it was this way or not. It's getting dark. It is getting dark. I should have known. I should have known. I'm probably going to die. Oh, God. It's a lot of snow. Okay, this is a lot further up here than I thought it was. I gotta be honest. I didn't think it was like that high up. But apparently it is. Very high up. I can't get up. I don't know how to get up. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I got it. Okay. Uh-oh. That's a problem. I don't know where they are. Oh, hi. You want to come play in the snow? The hell is that? They make a pill if you can't get up? I don't believe you. Interesting. Look at my beautiful base from here. I'm not that far away from getting up there. I just didn't know there would be like a lava. All right. I'm not going to be a dumb and keep going and then die. I'm going to go back to my base. I'm not even going to bother with you. Oh, God. Ow. No, 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 no. No, no, no. It's fine. Ow. Oh, God. Ah! I heard that. I heard that. Ow. Okay, we'll continue our little adventure, our exploration event in the morning. Now I got plenty more time to be optimal here. And I feel like maybe I should go that way, because then I could careen over there. That seems like the faster way to do this. Not that way, this way. Because if I go that way, it seems like this is the smart. This is what a smart would do. Okay. I'm going to be the smart. If I can. Get up there. Mountains are hard to get over. All right, this is smart. This is the smart. This is the smart. This is the way. This is the way. I think. Ooh. More caves. This might not be the way. Actually, I don't think this helped at all. This is dumb. This isn't right. This is... It's fine. I thought this would make it easier. It didn't turn out that way. It's fine. I can't jump higher. Let's go. I don't want to go in the snow, because I'll die in the snow. I will eventually sink and then die. Is the thing. God, these mountains are so big. They're so big and scary. Intimidating. Massive. Build an evil wizard's tower? I'm not an evil wizard, though. It would be wrong, because I would be lying. A lot of iron in these mountains. I feel like I'm taking the long way because that's like the peak. Ow.
Hello,
God damn
Egret
it.
the Rainposs.
Egret! Build a rain machine? I did. I didn't, but it did it for me. It's very rainy. God damn. I want to go over the mountain, but I can't. It's too high. It's too high. Uh. Okay. I will forge my own path. These mountains will not be able to stop me. And now I have snowballs, because those are useful. Couldn't find diamond, but I found snowballs, and that's just as good. Ooh. I think I'm going to be okay on iron for a while. Damn it. It's too steep. These friggin' hills. Like, I don't want to scale the entire mountain. That is not my goal. I'm not seeing a lot of other options here, though. God. That just never ends. I don't know if I can get over this way. I mean, I could, but it's just going to take a lot of work. I don't want to do that. That's a long way. There might be a way over here. Let me go see if I can do that. Maybe? There might be a ridge over this way. Let's go take a look. Ooh. This way. This seems like a good way. This might work. If I just get up over here, I might be able to go. Ow! Okay. Oh, it just keeps going. These mountains go on forever and ever and ever. I'm surrounded by mountains of endless proportions. God damn. I don't know how I'm going to find anything. Because, like, the mountains just never stop. Ooh, emerald. I did it. Nope. Never mind. It's fine. I'm good. I mean, you think they got to end it somewhere, right? There's got to be a different biome somewhere. Was that a bee? Not like a bee. I don't know what that was. Oh, it's a goat. Never mind. There's a different thing. There's a forest over there. So it's got to end over there. Just not easily. Oh, hi. There's a goat. We found him. Okay, so it looks like over there is where that would end. Interesting. Interesting. I don't want to get too far because I got to get home sometime. I'm gonna go to the peak of this mountain. Excuse me, goat. See what I can see from up here. Ah! Bye, goat. He just kind of fell. Felt kind of bad for him. Okay, we're almost at the top, I think. Ugh. Oh my goodness. Damn, we are really high up. Oh my God. My house is somewhere down there. I don't know why you can't milk the goats. I don't know either. That would make sense that you could. My house is way the frick down there, though, now. So, that's good. I'd almost think that it would be easier to get over here somehow by just mining my way through the freaking mountain. How am I going to get down? I I really think this through. It seemed like a really cool adventure at the time, but now I'm kind of thinking, maybe this wasn't the best plan. Fine. I got this. Ain't nothing to worry about, no-how. No milking and milking? Well, we could milk them. I wish that would be kind of useful if you could milk the... Ow! If you milk the goats. But I don't need to. I got cows. I can milk the cows if I need to milk anything. Okay. Oh, it's getting dark again. I better get down. It's time for me to... Ow! Time for me to get to my... Ow! To my humble home. Which really ain't so humble. I got a lake house, guys. I got a lake house. I feel like a rich man. My richness is apparent now. Which is not over here. It's actually on the other side. Oh, shit. I went the wrong way. Crap. I think it's on the other side of this. Oh, my God. I went so far. Uh-oh. I'm going to be stuck out here at night. Not even lemur milking? No, you cannot lemur milk in Minecraft. That is not a thing you can do. All right, there we go. Let's just head this way. I'm pretty sure my house is over there. I hope it's over there. I hope I'm not really lost right now. I might be very lost right now. Uh-oh. Let me through. Let me through. Ooh, that's pretty. How did I get over here? I don't remember. I did a lot of climbing, I know that. Uh-oh. Getting lost in the mountains in the cold of night. Not ideal. Not what I would call ideal. Ow. Come on. Come on. This is a jump you can make. I'm hungry. How did I do this? I don't remember how I did this. I must have come from somewhere over there. Okay. How did I get so lost all of a sudden? Ooh, it's a cave. Which is great for another time. When I... Ah! Thank you. Save me some effort there of having to mine that. This seems like a way I can go. I don't know. Okay. Oh. Sheepies and skeletonies. Wait, where is my house? I feel like it's got to be that way. I probably should have made a compass. I was thinking about it, but then I didn't. Because I is the dumb. Hello, Zombo. Don't bother me. I ain't gonna bother you none. It's gotta be... Well, there's a forest, but where is my house? Where are you? I saw you earlier. I don't know where you went. I don't care. Oh, hi. There's some. Okay. I'm just going to go over there. No, you don't want me. You don't want none of this. Uh-oh. I got problems. I got problems. Problems. Ow. A lot of creepers. Oh God, how did I get lost? Spider. Uh-oh. There seems to be a clearing over here. And a creeper. Ah! Ow. This could be where I go. That doesn't look right. I think it's over there more, but...
Hello, Lucas Yoshino.
Lucas, what's going on? Yes, creeper is coming. Creeper is creeping. I tell them no creeping, but they do not listen. This is not my home. Shit, I might be lost. That's a problem. Whoa!
Aurora Brightscale.
Aurora
Welcome,
Brightscale,
9
thank you so
lovely
much.
people.
Oh my goodness. Welcome
Thank you
to
for
a
the
lost
follow,
Leam.
Yuki_wattage. You are part of the
Yuki,
conspiracy now.
Wattage, thank you so much for the follow.
Why'd you say you don't like King Julian?
What did you got there?
Angel.
How are you doing, Aurora? Welcome
I
in.
don't know, Howie. Why
Hello,
there's two
Aurora
of everything.
Aurora, what is up? Welcome in, everybody. How's Minecraft going? It's going good. I've made a lot of
Hello,
progress.
Zoen.
Zoen, what's going on? Hey, everybody. How's it going, everyone? Welcome in, everybody. How was your stream? You were playing some Repo? Were you playing with Xeon and everybody? Was
I
that
also
fun?
marked it on Sammy,
I haven't played
so
Repo in so long. That was such a fun game. Hope you had a good time. I've made a lot of progress in Minecraft, except I'm lost.
Hello, Yuki_wattage.
I do know
Oh, sorry.
Zoen. I do know Zoen. I'm lost right now. I was playing with some other friends, but it was a lot of fun. Awesome. Well, that's cool. That's cool. I haven't played Repo in forever. Ever. And we are lost. I'm lost, guys. So welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much for the raid again. I very much appreciate you. If you need to go take care of yourself and do some post-stream care, please feel free to do so. For everyone else, my name is Nathan. I am the Leam that streams. I decided to stream it on a whim. Definitely a lot of fun. Lots of clips from tonight. Nice. That game is pretty hilarious. And we're a variety streamer. Tonight we're playing some Minecraft. You can watch me struggle to find my way home at night, which is what's going to happen right now. Leam that streams, exactly. And I don't know where I'm going. Apparently, I'm in the mountains. And I don't know. Do I remember my... Uh-oh. Creeper. Bam. Nope. Bam. Bam. Nope. Bam. Haha. No creeping for you, sir. Do I remember my coordinates? Do I remember my coordinates? Hi, lost guys. What are your preferred pronouns? Mine is he, him. That's fine. For me's. Where am I? Is this the way? No, not like this. You're in the clouds. Ow. How dare you? How dare you? You two fight each other. Fight each other. Kill each other. Not me. Are those skeletons duking it out right now? That's pretty cool. She, her, from him, you? Okay, great. Good to know. Good to know. Thank you. Thank you very much. There might be a way over here. That might be it. Ow, you bastard. want any. I don't want any. I am gonna run for it. They can't eat what they can't catch. That might be it. Is that it? That kind of looks like it. It's not it though. I think it's close. I think that's close. I think that's close. I think if I can, oh shit. I think that might be close to home. Ish. I think it's straight up there though. All right. I should eat something before I get caught. Okay. That looks kind of right. Ah, I don't know how I did that. Ooh, that's not good. Ow. Wait. Is that my portal thingy? Is that my portal thingy? Yes, it is. Oh, there it is. I found it. Skeletons can't eat regardless. It would just be a dry slip and slide. That's fair, but they do try to murder you. And then the zombos probably eat you once you're murdered. And ow. And either way is not ideal. There's my beautiful home. My beautiful lake house. I found it. Okay. All right. Ugh. How did I do this? How did I get up here? All right. If I just not die. Boop. Wham. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. Boop, 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 boop. Ow. Fine. Boop, 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 boop. Boop. Boop, 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 boop. Ow. Hey, there's my boat. Nice. Ow. Ow. Those last steps are doozies. All right, here we go. Here's my beautiful, beautiful home. It's much more beautiful now that I really kind of not want to die and be here. Anyway, that was a fruitless adventure because I didn't find any way out of the mountains. And that sucks. Also, why did I bring all of my stairs with me? I didn't need stairs. Who needs stairs? I have a lot of snowballs. God, what do you do with snowballs? Like, what is the use case for snowballs? Besides, eating them with a select group of syrups, I guess. I got a lot of iron though. That was pretty good. Let's go check on my farm. Build snow blocks. You can do that? Nice. All right. Maybe we'll do that. Let me go check on my mountain farm. I'm what you call an innovative farmer. Yes, I made copper chests. I didn't know you could do that. I am what you call an innovative farmer. This is my farm. It's beautiful. Oops. How do I get out of here? Okay. I'm going to try to get only the mature wheat. I think that was mature. I think it's part of the new update called the Copper Age. So it's fairly new. It just happened. And you can also make like weapons and armor out of copper now. And torches. You can make torches out of copper. Those are all things you can do now. Why are some of these not plantable? Why are some of them not plantable? I don't know what I did to those. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. What did I do to you? Okay. All right, I'm gonna run over here, check on my cows. I guess I should have brought the boat with me. Oh well. Cows, I got some nom-noms for you. You're still a baby. That's okay. Guess you over there don't want no wheat. No wheat for you.
Hello, Valk.
I played Minecraft for many, many years. Well, welcome in.
Thank you
I'm
for
glad
the follow,
to.
Valk underscore the
Oh,
underscore
Valk, thank you so much for the
You're
follow. I
part of the
appreciate it.
conspiracy now.
How are you doing? And you've played the Minecrafts for many a years, and that is cool. I probably need to do more mining, but I'm not going to do that yet. I got to figure out what my plan is around this situation over here. Because I didn't know, I got to be honest, I didn't know that this could happen. Wait, a group of lemurs is called a conspiracy? You are correct, it is. They are a conspiracy in the making. And they are called that too, yes. Okay. I gotta figure out, I didn't know this could happen so not high up. And I don't know, I'm afraid of this shit. This stuff scares me. This is scary. It's so scary. How do I get up there again? I forgot how I do that. I am afraid. And let me show you why. I think it's this way. This feels right. Yeah, this is the right way. Okay. I am afraid of this cave. Because it's basically a deep dark, but it ain't that deep. But it's a deep dark. But it's not that deep. Like, it's a thing. Like, that's crazy to me. And there's also sensors like right down here. Somewhere around here. There's definitely a sensor. I think there's one right there. And I have been down there and let's just say I met a new friend very early on in my playthrough. I met a new friend and he was not friendly. He did not like me being down there. Big guy, not very friendly. Tell you that. I don't know what to do about this situation. I'm probably going to need diamonds and like better armor. Gonna head down there and do what I gotta do. In which case, I'm gonna have to find them. Yeah, the warden, he is not a friendly dude. I didn't know. I personally did not know that deep darks could start this high up. I thought you had to go super duper deep to find them. I didn't know that. So when I first came in here, I was like, what's that? That must be like mossy stone. It is not. It is not mossy stone. I mean, I got answers, but you got no backseat gaming. I'm terrible at doing it. But no, I mean, if it's like just random like lore stuff, I'm okay with it. But you know, just be you know, cautious with it. I guess it's okay. But yeah, that's my whole thing. Ow, that hurt. So my plan is, now that I've kind of set up a base that I can use. With a farm, with a ranch, with a mine, I think we're gonna start planning on maybe trying to get that thing fixed up. But I have to find some diamonds in order to make that happen. So I'm gonna have to mine. Mountain biomes have the highest chance for deep dark to exist. That makes sense. I guess that makes sense, but I was also like, well, but I always just figured you had to go like super duper deep to find them, but guess not. There's probably an ancient city somewhere around here then. There might be one. You can also, also, Yuki, you can make torches out of copper now. They're green. It's amazing. It's amazing. The world we live in. You are unable to plant crops in dark areas. I mean, they seem to work. The ones that were, at least where I have them, are working to some degree. But I could always like take the roof down if I need to. So I figured if I explore this area enough, I will eventually find diamond. Same amount of light with copper torches. It's just the pixel color is green. It looks like it. It looks like it. It doesn't seem like the soul ones, which always seem dimmer to me. Cube. There's a cube. Oh my god, this is that more of it? Is there more deep dark stuff over there? That kind of looks like a skulk thing. No way. There's no way. Ooh, that's real deep. Oh. Is that what I'm looking at over there? Interesting. Yeah, soul torches and definitely redstone torches are dim. Got it. Yeah, these ones seem pretty good. They seem pretty normalized. What is that? Oh, is that lapis? Nice. Oh, that goes down. Okay.
Oh my! There is an incoming break for adverts in 2 minutes.
Uh-oh. Well, the problem is I have to figure out how to get down there. I'm not quite sure how to do that yet. Without dying, of course. But it does almost appear as if there might be more deep dark over there with more skulk stuff. Interesting. I can't get up. I is stuck. I'm too lazy to get out my pickaxe. There we go. I might be able to careen my way over from over here. Oh, that smarts. It looks like I might be able to. Uh-oh. Endy! Endyman! Ah, there's a lot of freaking creepers. God damn it. Uh-oh. Haha. Who's dead? You are. Okay, interesting. It is. Oh my god. It is more of it. There's more. What the fuck? Where did I come? Where did I go? What is this place? How high up am I? That goes real deep. Okay. I'm still not sure how to get over there, but there might be a way over here. I hear you. I ain't bothering nobody. Where are you? Okay. Is there a way over here? No. That just goes down, further down. What is that? Oh, it's a bat. Interesting. I mean, I could go down that way, but that would be doable. And this way looks like I could definitely do it. Oh, Endy. I ain't looking at you, Endy. I ain't gonna look at you. Nope. Not looking at you. Oh, nice lava pit. Okay. So there's definitely ways I can get down from here. And then there's definitely more deep dark over there. Interesting. Wow, this biome is something else. This whole biome is something else. Yeah, this is cool though. This is a cool area. I got so many things to explore. And we are kind of building up my ability to do that. But we'll get there as soon as I can. For now, I'm going to head back this way. Craziness, though. I didn't think the deep dark could go that far. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen one that big before. I'm going to need to build like a railroad system, I think. I think that's the only answer I can have. Getting a little hungry here. Okay, I'm going to regroup. I probably should have closed that. Uh-oh. Hello, friendos. How are you? Good. Now leave me be. Did I bring my boat over here? I don't even know if I did. It looks like I might have. Well. Alrighty. So I got a lot of ores. Let's put my ores in there. Wheat probably is going to end up going to the cows. But I got some things. We're doing pretty good. Okay. Good stuff. All right, welcome back, everybody. But I think I know what I got to do. There's a lot to explore, and I think we've created a good setup so that I might start doing that because I got everything I need to make that happen. So I think that's what we're gonna do next. Lemur milk. I don't think we need no lemur milk. No lemur milk. Milk. I don't know why I can't say that word. Milk. But I think this is where I'm going to stop for tonight. I've kind of run out of time. I have a lot to explore and a lot of things to get. And I think my mind leads over there. And I think there's a deep dark over there as well. I think that's what's going to happen. So we shall mine the place, and it shall be our adventure in the next time. And maybe we'll go see the other deep dark, which is on that side. Which is crazy. There's one behind me. I'm surrounded by deep dark, which is crazy. That's crazy to think of. But let me go over here. And I'll call this a night. But thanks for everybody who joined tonight. I very much appreciate all of you guys coming in and hanging out with me today. That was awesome. Hope you guys had a good time kind of chilling with me doing this. Playing a little Minecraft to kind of chill out and relax on this Tuesday night. Big thank you to, let's take a look here. We got big thank you to Aurora Brightscale for the raid. Thank you so much. You were awesome and amazing, and I appreciate it so much. Yuki, thank you so much for the follow. And Volk the Durg, thank you so much for the follow as well. You guys are awesome. I'm so happy to have you guys here, and thank you again for joining me today. I'm going to send you guys out tonight to see who's playing. I'm gonna see if I can do it. If I can, I'm gonna go say hello. Let me see if he'll let me. because sometimes he calls it pretty early. But let me see what I do. I'm gonna send you guys out to say hello to C. James Fox if it'll let me, because sometimes he already closes it off already. Let me go see. But we'll see. But give James some love if I can. I can. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.